Hey, how you doing? Today, I stopped at McDonald's and got some of these hotcakes. Not a bad idea for breakfast. So, let's see what these look like. Oh yeah. Haven't had those in a while. But I gotta have some butter. Yeah. And that's Kerrygold butter. Pretty good stuff. I started using that when I was making Colcannon on St. Patrick's Day. Pretty good. Nice and golden color. Oh. Maple Grove Farms pure maple syrup. That's been a favorite syrup of mine for quite some time. I used to do some work up there at that Maple Grove Farms up in Vermont. Contracting work. Work on their machinery and stuff like that in the production facility. They have pretty good pancakes. Oh, and of course I got my coffee too. So, that plant up there in Maple Grove in Vermont, pretty long drive, but not bad. It's nice in the spring and the fall. It can be a little tricky though in the wintertime. They get a lot of snow and ice up there. I used to do quite a bit of contracting work though. I remember I went up to New York quite a bit and worked on some power plant stuff there. Now that drive, that was only like a couple of hours, not bad at all. And I always stayed at the Holiday Inn up there. I remember they had a really good breakfast at that Holiday Inn. You know, of course, they had the buffet line and everything with all the different meats and potatoes and different kinds of gravies, like sausage gravy and stuff. But one thing that was really nice was they had one of the cooks with a sort of an electric griddle setup. It was probably 3 or 4 feet long, where he would make eggs, however you wanted your eggs with your breakfast. Of course, I would normally get the over easy eggs, you know, and then go through the buffet line and pick up your whatever you wanted for meat for breakfast, bacon or ham or whatever. And they even had, you know, fresh fruit. One of the sections had fresh fruit on that buffet line. But I never missed breakfast when I was staying at that Holiday Inn. One, it was really good. But two, it went right on the expense report, you know, for travel. Because, you know, when you're working like that at a town, the companies would always cover everything. The travel, the hotel, the meals, everything. So we always ate really good when we were traveling. No doubt better than I did even when I was at home. But I used to do a fair amount of contracting work like that, you know, throughout the different states. And I always make sure whenever I was down in the southern parts of the states, I would get the sausage gravy with biscuits. They definitely knew how to make them. Probably better than up north. I remember one time my wife and I went out to Sedona, out in the Midwest, Arizona. And every morning that I was out there, I went to this one particular restaurant where all they served was omelets. So you look at the menu there at the place, and there's like 50 or so different kinds of omelets. And of course, you could modify them. You could get whatever you wanted. But their specialty was omelets. So each morning that we were out there, I always wanted to go to that omelet house and have an omelet. was always big on omelets. As a matter of fact, from the time I was a kid, we used to make corned beef hash omelets. So, you would take your eggs, break them up there in the bowl, get a can of corned beef hash, dump it in there, mix that all together. Because the corned beef hash had everything else you needed for breakfast. Just throw your eggs in there and you're good to go. And then just fry them up in the frying pan, put some cheese on them, flip them in half. Pretty good breakfast. I always wondered, as far as breakfast goes, like you can always get a steak and eggs, for breakfast. Really common. You can get ham and eggs. Really common. But you don't normally see like chicken and eggs. That's not usually on the menu, at a breakfast place. Another thing we used to have for breakfast a lot too, when I was growing up, was red beef gravy. Sort of like hamburger gravy. So you would fry up the ground beef and then put tomato paste and some tomato sauce and stuff in there. And it would be almost like dried beef gravy type thing. We would put it on toast. So throw your toast on there, get red beef gravy. Sometimes fried onions, fried potatoes with onions in them, not just fried onions. And have that also with that breakfast, That was always another one of the favorites. But that's it for that meal. So until the next time, Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later.